Okay, I find reading emails to be challenging at times, and when I'm trying to articulate a thought, I sometimes find that it's better to do that by video. So here we go. Okay, so this week, me and Ian worked very closely to sort of develop a clearer sort of articulation of, I guess, our business sort of concept. And we came up with some better infographics. And Jeff, just to sort of fill you in, I wanted to sort of show you where we are in terms of developing kind of like the 3D animation for sort of what would amount to be the application showcase. Now, before we kind of continue any further, Ian, I figured out a way to sort of speed up the asking of a question, but right now I'm just going to kind of play for Jeff's convenience and just to sort of fill him in what would amount to be the sort of output of a 3D sequence. So here we go. Okay, so that's pretty much it for that particular aspect of the showcase. Now, over here, what I'm going to show you is a render of a new Oliver. Now, this is just a wireframe render, okay? And the following sequence that plays after Oliver, and this kind of goes out specifically to Ian. I know you're extremely detail-oriented, and I love that about you. So what I want to let you know is that the following text, every text element is presently in like the process of being adjusted, and I'll get into that towards the end of the video, but this is sort of a fresher, a more animated, a more lively, and a more lovable Oliver, and I really think that this is going to be what sort of pushes us over the edge. Now, here we're going to have Oliver doing a Minority Report kind of sequence, and the following animation is going to have an opacity layer kind of applied to it, and it's going to be put on top of Oliver as he does sort of something like this. But I wanted to sort of show you the kind of animation that would be occurring with two sort of layers synchronized on top of one another. And played and cued to the same music, here it is. So he's in this wireframe state. Awesome, and right there we've got the little Wisdom logo. It's all pretty cool. Alright, so I like this sequence, and just imagine for a moment you've got kind of Oliver under there animating everything kind of, and sort of being the composer, I guess, or that guy at the symphony, the orchestrator of it all. So he's going to kind of be pulling a Tom Cruise in Minority Report. It's all like super exciting. Now, I'm going to play for you where I want to elevate our brand. This is stuff that I believe we're capable of doing, but I have a problem, and I'm going to kind of articulate briefly what my problem is. I want you to think about the computer that we have, which is amazing, and I'm very thankful to even have the computer we have at work. It's just, I know that Jeff indicated they're using Cray machines at Pixar and stuff. We have to keep in mind that we aren't Pixar, we are Wisdom, but I genuinely believe the following commercial is where I want to take Wisdom as a brand. Now, the problem is that we have sort of Wisdom and we have one computer. Think of it as an oven. If we're trying to bake cookies, once I put the cookies in there, it takes about 45 minutes to sort of get those cookies to like the perfect Mr. Christie chewiness and like awesomeness. I think Ian remembers my wife's cookies. So to get it there, you got to take about 45 minutes, put it in the oven. Similarly, when it comes to animation, to sort of accomplish these things, you realistically need one oven to render, while the other one is used to sort of sequence the animations. So here I'm going to show you sort of where my goal is in video 2 to elevate us to. Ignore the ad. This is the famous Coca-Cola animated ad. This is all very doable. Particularly because Jeff got us into trap code and a whole bunch of stuff. This is the kind of animation I genuinely believe we're capable of. And I think that Oliver is going to even be animated to a very sort of similar standard. This is the kind of animation that I really think is going to go viral and is going to blow Wisdom up and make NanoRep look like nano crap. This is where I genuinely believe that we can kind of take the Wisdom brand, but in order to do this, I need a couple things. The first thing I kind of need is more time with the computer. So my first request is that moving into this week, I understand the need for an office, and I'm by no means trying to pull the, oh, can I work at home stuff. Like, you guys have worked very hard to get the necessary funding so that we can have an office, and I really appreciate that. And plus, I enjoy coming to the office. I think it's a really cool environment, and the structure is necessary. Plus, there's lots of snacks. Having said that, though, I really think for me to sort of tighten up our video, provide the necessary infographics, and make all the revisions, we need a couple things. The first thing is I need to spend some more time in front of the computer. I wake up in the morning, generally speaking, around 7 o'clock. By the time I'm sort of showered and ready to actually roll out to the office, it's usually about sort of 8 o'clock or so, and I sit in traffic on the way up for usually anywhere between a half an hour to an hour and a half, and the way home is equally as long. So the first request I have is that we maybe in the evenings, if it's comfortable with you, I think I have a Rolex that I can use as some type of insurance policy. But in any case, I'm asking that we be able to take the Mac Pro Tower home at the end of the day so that I can actually execute renders so that I can bring Oliver to life and make him that much more lovable. And the second request I have, and maybe someday in the future when we get more funding, it would be ideal if we had two computers, one that was capable of actually performing the renders while the other one allowed me to sequence. When we get into things like After Effects and even Premiere, for me to even add that audio track to you on my existing laptop, we used this, and this wasn't too bad just to sync the audio to the actual track, but when we're inside of After Effects, that one sequence that I showed you, no word of a lie, that actually took about 5 hours at work to export. In an ideal situation, I would have one oven to sort of prep the cookies on and throw them in, while another batch I had already simultaneously prepared and was just putting into the oven. That way we can kind of increase our volume, and I would be able to sort of create the intricate animations that you sort of see inside of the Coca-Cola commercial that went viral. And if I'm not mistaken, this one commercial, I mean, look at that. That's 6 million views right there. That's insane. You can't fight that. Right now, we're going to have an amazing commercial for Vegas. Your business cards are going to be fantastic. And on Sunday, after I'm done going out for wine with me and my wife, I'm going to make sure that I tighten up our website. And then during the week, I'm going to try to handle the rest of our edits in conjunction with our PowerPoint. But it would really help me if I would actually have utility of the computer during the evening, because when I go to bed at night, I could have an entire sequence being outputted on the tower to my HD TV, and then that way I could bring it into work the next morning. I really think it would help me sort of get to that next point and sort of produce, at least for the interim, a very presentable initial wisdom reel, but that's just the beginning. I genuinely believe that we can create a captivating experience at sort of the comparable Coca-Cola level. Anyways, that's your video update. That's what I've been up to this week. Ian, I hope you like the 4-pager I put together for you really quickly, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. If it's okay with you, I'm going to use video updates because nobody likes to read long-winded emails. All right, have a good night.